Take three. Yeah, I just did a nice half-hour video that I forgot to adjust the sound on. Um, okay, it's now about almost 11 a.m. on Wednesday, July 24th, 2024. Crazy stuff is going on. Yeah, please remember, yes, I am a clairvoyant, clairaudient, psychic. Everything is entertainment purposes only. Everything, full disclaimers down in the box, along with the buy me a coffee, the tip jar, email if you want to schedule a private reading and stuff. And yeah, let's get going. I'm late filming today because yeah, well, yeah, doctor's appointment on Monday. Well, now I'm going in for physical therapy, and that's first thing in the morning stuff. And then you come home, you double check on a few things, and then you start to film a video and you realize you forgot to have the right microphone turned on. Which, okay, there goes half an hour. Okay, yeah. Thank goodness I take notes. Now, when I got up this morning, yeah, it was pretty early, and so I started going through the news, and the one thing that I noticed there was a lot of coverage on is that plane crash in Nepal. Well, there, I haven't seen anything new, more info on it yet. Initially, I was thinking pilot error, ground crew. Something was wrong with the aircraft, with the equipment itself. But the more I stewed on it, because when I had all this information in my brain when I went to the physical therapy appointment. And no, what I'm picking up is that there was something the pilot realized there was something going on in among the passengers. Something was not right. And the takeoff was actually aborted. He stopped the plane from taking off. He was about to, and then he boom, pulled back. And yeah, the plane went. The pilot survived, but the people the passengers, there was a loss of life. I'm getting now that it was intentional, because if he had taken off, what would have resulted from him flying the plane would have been much worse than him aborting the takeoff and preventing those passengers what they were planning. And so what happened was a necessary evil. And in due time, we're going to find out what the real story was on all those passengers and what was really planned. Okay? Now, another thing that's been quietly bantered about, we know Ireland is getting slammed with the migrants. Yeah, really. It's basically an invading army of the 5-time-a-day idiots. Yeah, Gazagoons. Well, you see, Irish don't take shit from anybody. And go back 100 years. What happened? Yeah. Didn't Bono and U2 do a song called Bloody Sunday? And what was that about? Remember Bobby Sands? Okay, it's the current crop of new politicians in Ireland are basically handing over everything to the Gazagoons. No. Old sod farm, old sod Irish, no. They're not going to have their houses taken away and turned over to those dirtbags, to the Gazagoons. What they're going to do, and it's going to be a resurgent of the Fenians. Yeah. Yeah, Sinn Féin party is going to take over, just like they did 100 years ago. Yes. They called themselves Republicans. There was a whole storyline on Downton Abbey about it. It'll be the Fenians. There's Fenian Society. There is one here in the States. And there's a lot of construction companies that are held by Irish families here in the States. They'll be helping out their Irish cousins across the pond. There's going to be a lot of stuff happening in Ireland, and it's the current crop of politicians had better start looking for a new place to be, because the Fenians and the Roman Catholics aren't going to tolerate the bullshit that these 5-time-a-day idiots are going to push. It's going to be the Fenians fighting back, and like I said, look, there'll be a new bunch of coffin ships. They're going to get them out of Ireland. Big time. They'll get them out. Instead of driving, they'll be calling out on the old St. Patrick. He drove the snakes out. Well, now there'll be somebody like a St. Patrick to drive the 5-time-a-day invading army out of Scotland and out of Ireland. Yeah. I mean, okay, my family's Scot, Jacobite, and basically the only thing that a Scot and an Irishman can agree on is we both don't like the Welsh or the Brits. But yeah, it's going to be like the 1920s all over again. But instead of going after the English, they're going to go after the idiots that pray 5 times a day. And the local constables basically are going to turn a blind eye. Now we've got stuff going on. They're not really reporting as much on it because they consider it old news. But yeah, the Houthis in Yemen are continuing their bombardment on everything that they consider insulting, which is basically everything. So we are going to continue to see a disruption in the Red Sea of things going to the Suez Canal. Basically, the Houthis are now, they're providing more bodies for the Gaza goons. And you got to be watchful, because they have the Gaza goons. They sent a bunch of them here. They rounded up a bunch to go and make noise at the Watergate Hotel in D.C. because Netanyahu, the guy who leads Israel, paying a visit here to the United States. Well, of course, they're laughing their asses off about it because, of course, nobody from Barry's puppet administration showed up at the airport. And, of course, JoJo has the C-19 stuff, so he can't see anybody. And, of course, Kamala is, like, too busy trying to get organized for her political campaign. Well, let's put it this way. It's, Gaza goons, yeah, they're trying to disrupt Netanyahu's visit here in the States. Make it messy. And They're also, a bunch of them are heading into France right now. Now, I did say, and now one of the other guys on YouTube is making noise about it. They're thinking Paris is going to be like Munich in 72. Well, I've been saying that for a while. Well, yes, it's going to happen. But when it happens, it's going to open up the eyes of so many. That's why when you look, the majority of France, when you look at physical space, they all voted for Marie Le Pen. But the high concentration of population all went towards the EU bullshit. Well, when Paris blows up in their face again, Paris will go up. It will be the Gaza goons reenacting what happened in Munich in 1972 at the Olympics. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be nice. But people are going to realize, oh shit, this is for real now. The French government will fall. When it starts to fall, Germany is next. Once Germany goes, the entire EU will fall. Well, that is like crumbling around. Here in the States, we're going to be dealing with, okay, Paris will be burning. Then they have here in Chicago. May end up being like another. They're going to have to find a new Mrs. O'Leary and her cow to blame it on, but it's actually going to be the Gaza goons that have come up through the southern border that are camped out all over the city, and plus the Venezuelan assholes. The city's going to go up, and it's, instead of the Windy City, it's going to be a smoky city. Because Cammie can't hold it together. We know JoJo's a walking vegetable. Just go back, do your homework. You're going to realize that Jilly is trying to emulate Edith Wilson. Go back and do your history on it. Okay? What they're going to do, what the DNC is going to do, produce, that's why they're going to bring in that Mark Kelly from Arizona and that female governor out of Michigan. They're using those two to play on the heartstrings. Oh, he's the loyal husband of Gabby Gifford. You know, the one that had the boom boom, but is still walking around like kind of like a vegetable. And they're using that female governor because she was almost unwillingly taken on a mini vacation. Yeah, they picked those two. Pure sympathy votes. Him because he's the loyal husband to someone who was, they tried to remove because she wasn't conservative. She was a liberal asshole. They both are. And then, of course, they're using that governor out of Michigan because of, they're going to try and use that against anyone who believes in the Second Amendment. So that's why they are picking those two. I mean, I was talking to someone, I thought it was going to, really, Gruesome Newsom and Pugsley Putzker. But they're like, no, those two guys are actually know what they're kind of doing in politics. No, they won't. Those two have already screwed themselves over 8 ways to Sunday. Yeah. Pugsley won't get the votes because, hey, the Democratic Party has totally snubbed Netanyahu, so they basically have lost the Jews that vote blue by how they treated the guy from Israel. So they have to go for another tactic. They have to go for a supposed loyal husband and someone that was almost, you know, almost went on for a ride that she didn't want to go on. But once France falls, Germany will fall, and the Democrats will fall with it, because people will then focus on who has the respect. Donald and JD. And because we've got all this, and a lot of this is being caused by the Gaza goons. We're going to have, it's going to be soon as the job interview in November takes place, Vlad will be putting his foot on the neck of the dude in the Big Red Sea. Donald and JD will regroup everything here. Yeah, boot out the Gaza goons. Yeah, put them on a cargo ship and leave them stranded in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Because the next step will be, we know that Europe has fallen. The good guys are going to come back in and straighten out Europe. They're going to take all the stuff that the Z guy is letting go to rust. Grab that back. Vlad will use it to squash the Big Red Sea. And we'll then Europe, they're going to come down on that area of the idiots that are the extreme 5-time-a-day Gaza goons. They're going to come in from both angles. And it won't be pretty. But it's a necessary evil. Now we've had, people are saying, no, Cammie is winning. Donald won't do it. Cammie's winning in the polls. Those are all freaking bullshit. And you got to be careful. You see, anybody who's yakking on that media site called Telegram, read their T&Cs. Their servers are based in Dubai. Who is Dubai? United Arab Emirates, who they're really loyal to, is the Khomeini people in Tehran. Yeah, there's a lot of these idiots that yak away. And that white and black hat nonsense is nothing but smoke and mirrors. And these conspiracy idiots, yeah, they hang out on the RNBC and big time on Telegram. If you see anything on Telegram, don't believe a single word or anything, because the servers are in Dubai and all the communication through Telegram is being monkeyed with. So don't trust it. And anyone who has their shit on there, don't trust. Yeah. Because, yeah, I know people find me on TwitX. They find me on Truth Social. I get emails. And what's funny is that I get these stupid idiots. And they're like, oh, call me on via Telegram. I'm like, no. Anybody who tells me to reach out to them on Telegram, I'm like, get the F out of it. Goodbye. You're reported. So if you see Telegram nonsense, take a hike. Shut it down. Tell them to get it lost. Block them. Do what you got to do. Now, we do know that there's been some stuff. And yeah, since I was up really early this morning, I was in communication with, before I left, I talked to, was in touch with Mystical Fortunes, and we were going over some stuff, and I'm like, yeah, Henry is turning 40 in September. Henry is basically, he's going to get, the trust stuff is, the money's locked up really tight. Seriously, Elizabeth Bowes-Lyon never forgot that she was a Scot. And a Scot is really tight-fisted when it comes to money. She locked down that inheritance so tightly because she was around when he was a teenager. She saw what kind of a brat he was. And she probably put some stipulations in that if he started acting like his great uncle David, you know, the one who became Eddie 8. If he had started acting like that, then even more tighter controls on his inheritance. So, yeah, the Henry and Rachel group probably thought, well, none of them have really seen the documents. They just thought his aunt was being mean by not giving him the money. So they probably tried to get Anne out of the picture. But they don't realize that they already have somebody lined up to handle the finances and the trusts, who has a really, really, really great business sense. And that's David Armstrong Jones, Earl of Snowdon, Margaret's kid. I mean, he started out with basically, okay, he had maybe $500,000 max. That's why they had to sell off a lot of stuff, including that Baltimore tiara that his mother wore on her wedding day. But he's managed to build himself an extremely a huge portfolio and has made himself a shitload of money. So he knows how to make money. So, of course, the family finances, the family businesses, like the Duchy of Cornwall, Duchy of this and that, and all that other stuff. Once Anne is finished, decides to finally retire, all the financial stuff is going to be then it's going to be the Earl of Snowdon overseeing everything, because he has the financial acumen. And they will be then, James, Ed and Sophie's kid, will be like Mick Jagger. Go get his degree in economics, and then he'll be working with his cousin, the Earl of Snowdon. So you're going to have the young Earl of Wessex working for the Earl of Snowdon, running the big family business. And Henry will never get his hands on the principal of anything, any money. He might get a percentage of the interest now as a direct deposit, whereas before he had to put in a request for funds on a monthly basis. And they could say yes or they could say no. Actually, they had to submit receipts for reimbursement. Well, now, then he turns 40, he doesn't have to submit receipts. He can get automatically X amount of bucks each month deposited. But what they don't realize, he now has to pay some taxes on that shit, on that cash flow coming in. And you see, if he's paying UK taxes, that also means he has to sign up and fill out paperwork pertaining to the NHS. What about those kids? Him having to pay taxes. I mean, if they're claiming those kids as dependents, the American Internal Revenue Service can ask to see proof of the existence of those children. The National Health Service in the UK can ask, let's see the kids. So like they tried to take down Donald on IRA tax fraud stuff, it's going to be the taxes that take down Henry and Rachel, and they will expose all. Wow. So, yes, folks, it will be the tax man, not the media, not the families. The tax man who's going to expose all when it comes to those children. So, folks, thank you for watching today. Yeah, we'll have next video goes up on Friday. And everyone have a great one. Thank you for watching. Yeah, the thanks button, the tip jar, the coffee's all up and running now. We've gotten rid of the little stink. Fiona got rid of the little stinker. Okay. So everyone have a great evening. Thank you for watching.